am Rob from HopZine.com. Thanks for joining me for another video beer review. This time we are looking at the first of two pumpkin beers that I'm going to be looking at over the next couple of days. And the first one is the Fear Imperial Pumpkin Ale. Ale brewed with pumpkin and spices from Flying Dog in Frederick, Maryland. It is a 9% beer. I had a quick look on their website. I think it's hopped with Warrior and Willamette. Interesting malt bill. I think it was Vienna, some type of wheat, brown malt, and I think chocolate malt. So primarily kind of like stouty. I know it's a dark beer, but I don't know what kind of beer it is. But yes, it uses ridiculous, pumpkin puree from a local firm. First time I've seen this on these shores. Pouring, I mean, coming out of the bottle, it looks like brown ale. But yeah, when I spotted it, I thought, well, we don't get many pumpkin beers in the UK. I guess pumpkin's not a massive thing in the UK, but we get a few from America. Post Road from Brooklyn being the most significant one, I guess we get, which, to be honest, I don't think much to. So I was very excited to see this one. Beer in the glass, a really nice dark brown, kind of slightly reddish, kind of mahogany edge to it, but a lovely looking beer. The head, it's got the kind of the consistency and kind of look of if you get a nice kind of coffee and walnut kind of a nice kind of slightly espresso kind of infused creamy kind of like buttercream topping. It looks really like that. It's got a slight kind of walnut kind of look to it. It looks great. Damn fine looking beer. A bit different as well. It's got this kind of like slightly ashy, warm grey head and this slightly reddish body. So yeah, really interesting, really different. Anyway, let's check out the aroma. Oh wow, you're definitely getting, it's big time forward on the spice. Definitely cloves, definitely nutmeg. It's, yeah, nutmeg, maybe a hint of ginger, cloves, maybe a hint of ginger. I just said that, didn't I? Maybe some kind of a slightly banana-y note. I guess maybe that's the cloves once again. Because they say, ooh, they said the yeast strain, it said Chico, and I don't think that's the standard yeast strain that they use. So I guess that's essentially like the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale yeast strain, which would be kind of like White Labs kind of, this is like 01 or something, I can't remember. It should have a real, that in its sense should have a real cleanness to it, but there is a funky kind of Belgian note, but maybe it's just that kind of like those points of reference that you have for Belgian beers, which are kind of estery, and that's clearly coming from those spices, and especially something like cloves. There is as that kind of clears out now, I'm getting a bit more kind of like all bran kind of cereal, because it's quite maybe a hint of kind of ginger, Jamaican ginger cake. Yeah, and maybe slightly more charred note at the back end. That's really interesting, because that's sniff back in my hand. Yeah, it's really died off as the intense character of those spices. Maybe slightly chocolatey now. And there is a note which reminds me, it's quite alcoholic and it's slightly kind of like surgical spirit. Weird. That spice disappeared. I don't know if it's my nose. I'm not on top form as far as the kind of the factory system goes at the moment, but that's a lovely smelling beer. So let's dive in. Cheers. I can talk about the aroma of this beer for ages because it's just really appeared to evolve. Anyway, let's dive in. Good amount of body. Interesting. It kind of reminds me in a lot of ways of like a Kentish strong ale. It's got flavours of licorice, yeah, I guess you are getting that kind of pumpkin pie thing going to an extent. To an extent, but not massively. There's a kind of like a dunkel kind of like character to it. There's like the burnt edge, but also a cleanness, what you get from a dunkel. Yeah, licorice without a doubt. Maybe kind of like a burnt wood bark, kind of flat cola. Yeah, tobacco. And something there which I'm not a massive fan of. There's a bitterness. Excuse me. Which is slightly, it's a bit of a tang. It's verging towards coffee, but it's not. It don't reach those peaks. It's just now. It's slightly aniseedy maybe. And then you do get a coffee note, I guess, but it's masked too much with this like licorice and kind of sarsaparilla kind of thing. It's really thrown me because that flavour is potent and not to my taste. Yeah, and then those kind of nutmeg and clove things kind of wafting around in the background. That's really. I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. I was hoping for better than this. You kind of built it up as a more kind of quite stouty. Those stout flavours don't pop through. You mean looking at that malt bill, we've got brown malt and I think some chocolate malt. You kind of it gets you to think you might expect something like that. Yeah, big time kind of sarsaparilla and kind of pipe tobacco. It lacks sweetness, and I think that's one of the things a successful pumpkin beer delivers, and that will be the one you see tomorrow, which has a lovely amount of sweetness. Pumpkin, and that's a pale beer from Southern Tier. That's a lovely beer. That's a tricky one. That's a real tricky one. You mean I've put it down and folded my arms. Oh man, that's a funny one. Because I don't know if I like it. I really don't. Because that tang, which is kind of slightly, it's got a perfumey quality on your tongue, and a bitterness, which is unwanted, I think, along with those kind of like those kind of cereal and kind of slightly darker flavours where you get in a stout, and those spices that I think they're reaching this peak, and it's a bit like aniseed. I don't like aniseed. Licorice, I think, has a place in a stout, but I think it's really clashing. Something's really fighting and not hitting the mark. This is, yeah, it's really taking a turn. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this. I think I might just kind of have it on the side and kind of sip away at it. Maybe slightly medical. The more I have of it, less I like it actually. It wasn't cheap, that. And maybe it is a bit boozy as well. You might like it. I really don't. That's a real disappointment because I hope for better for that. But I'm going to sip on that for maybe another 10 minutes and decide if I'm going to keep it or dump it. But there's something relatively unappealing about that. If I was judging that blind, I'd have taken one mouthful and chucked it away because there's some flavours in there that just don't work for me personally. Some people might love it. I think it's quite well rated online on Rate Beer and stuff like that. I really don't care for that. That's weird. I'm going to read up on it. I'm going to maybe see if anybody else has reviewed this and get some pointers. Maybe I'm missing something. But I personally think that's weird, and there's something in there which I do not like. So that is, give it a go if you're feeling brave, and it might turn a corner for you, but it's certainly not for me. That's the Fear Imperial Pumpkin Ale from Flying Dog. I mean, a good brewery, but just a beer with a weird taste. Anyway, you can't win them all. 9% ABV, Imperial Pumpkin Ale. Not for me. I'm not even going to take a drink when I toast you goodbye. Anyway, I'm Rob from HopZine.com. See you next time, and I guarantee the next pumpkin beer is going to be pretty fucking good. Cheers. No thanks.